How is it rocking, Dwayne Nation? Stay here because we are just about to get underway. In the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. We put out weekly sports content, and we want to continue to build up Dwayne Nation and the brand that is Dwayne Sports. Thank you all, and enjoy. Welcome in, Dwayne Nation. This is your host, Justin Paez, alongside Genoa Agudelo, and we're here. We're back for our first show since our live events, and we're going to be doing a big-time mock draft, our first of, the training camp preseason. And so we got two guests here today. We got Victor Paez, my dad. You saw him in the NFC record predictions video about a month ago. But how you feeling today, Pops, that you're in this episode?
I'm feeling great and can't wait till the season starts. I have to be back to back to back on my uncle's league, and I will take first place again.
We'll see about that. Yeah, we're all in a league together called the Uncle's League. Uncle's cousins, some friends, and he has one back to back. So we're gonna have to stop that. But it's a test. He's pretty good at what he does. So you got to listen to him. But we got our second guest here. We got David Paez, the Army man. He's my godfather. He's our Theo, me and Genoa. But Theo, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, feeling well. I'm honored to be amongst this wonderful panel. Thank you for inviting me, and let's get to it because I want to take first place in this. I'm the ace in this place, so let's do it. Let's start. I'm excited.
I'm so excited that you guys are on today to help us with our big time mock draft. But right before we get underway, I got to, of course, my co-host. How you doing today, Genoa?
Yo, Dewey Nation. Justin, I'm doing so good. Hey, it's officially fantasy football season. We have our first preseason game on Thursday. So I'm so excited to get right into this, man. Let's go ahead and draft. Let's see who gets the best team out of our first mock of the year, man. And hey, I'm so excited, Justin. Let's get it going.
Yes.
Maybe the viewers could pick on and comment on the best team picks.
I love that. That is perfect. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good idea, Victor.
Pick who you think's the best pick, your thoughts on who did well, who did bad. And of course, like, subscribe, comment, and share. We love it. All right. We're gonna jump into this mock draft, get started, because we got 16 rounds to dive through. It's half PPR, for everybody to know. It's 10 teams. And yeah, nothing too crazy about that. But before we start, just so you know what the names are, obviously David right here, he is the 4th overall pick. I am 6th. Genoa is 7th, so we got that head-to-head right here between the two hosts. And then we got my dad at 10. So it's pretty spread out. Obviously, the first 3 are the rest will be CPU. But, yeah, let's dive right into it. Start the draft here, Theo. You'll be the first out of us. But the first 4 picks, we had McCaffrey, Tyreek, and CeeDee. Nothing too crazy. People flip CeeDee and Tyreek from time to time. But now we're at 4. So, Theo, what are you thinking here?
I'm thinking I was going to pick Justin Jefferson, but they got Sam as a quarterback and the JJ back. They don't know if he's going to start now, so I'm going to go with Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, all right, go ahead. And so let me see. Can you select him there?
I'm trying to. Right? Oh yes, sir. I got you.
All right, perfect. Then we got the 5th. With Bijan, and then I am at 6, and I got a decision here. I feel like it is between 2 guys, Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I kind of will back up what Theo David said. The quarterback situation is uncertain, even though I feel like I believe in Sam Darnold more than the average, fantasy footballer. But I'm going to have to go with Mr. Consistent on one of the best teams in the NFL and the Detroit Lions. So I'm going Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 6th overall. And that jumps into Genoa's pick. How you feeling that I got Amon-Ra?
You took my guy. I won Amon-Ra in almost every league this year. Justin, since this is a mock, I'm going to go a little bit outside the box. And I'm actually going to go with Saquon Barkley. I know it's a little bit of a reach.
Wow.
But I feel like the Eagles have such a great rushing attack and a great offense. I feel like Barkley's going to get catches, touchdowns, rushing all over. So I know he's beginning second round guy. So I'm going to take him right now. So no one takes him.
Are you not worried at all about tush push stealing Jalen Hurts or what? No, nothing.
Not at all. There's a new offensive coordinator in town with Kellen Moore. And not only that, Jason Kelce just retired. So I think it changes just a little bit in Barkley's favor.
All right, I like it. We got spicy and we got hot here. Saquon goes at the 7. Then Jefferson and A.J. Brown are Sims to team 8 and 9. And then we get to Zukru, my dad, at the pick number 10. Pops, what are you thinking?
Wow, 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 wow. Man, there's two players that I'm looking at. I'm looking at Brees Hall. I definitely think he's going to very much improve here with Aaron Rodgers playing at the helm there. Um, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do Brees Hall.
All
And
right.
then on the way back, I'm going to go ahead and pick up Puka. I mean, he's still new to the game, but he's been playing on fire, and he's going to be. I'd say he's going to be probably top 7 receivers this year. So I'm going to go and put Puka Nakua on the.
All right, I think that's really interesting because Puka, I mean, obviously he was by far like a crazy pick last year, was a top 5 wide receiver. Cooper Kupp missed a handful of those games, and you could argue maybe he played injured at all. Are you worried that Kupp will, still get his? Or I guess kind of
Oh,
what you.
definitely. Oh, he's going to get his for sure. There's no problem about that. But he's getting older. He had a few injuries the past few years, so I think definitely Pua is going to take the number 1 position. I think.
All right, sounds good. So you got Brees and Puka, great 2 picks to start off. Then we had Gibbs and Kyron go, and now we're back to Genoa.
I'm gonna have a running back stack here. Let's go
Oh
with
wow,
Jonathan Taylor. It's gonna. I want to start off with 2 running backs, and probably see if I can stack some receivers in the next 3 rounds. Let's see. I'm excited to see what I can come around there. But I'll go with Taylor there.
I like that. That's a scary duo. If you have Saquon and Taylor, you don't even have to worry about running back anymore. Okay, but you got Taylor. That's kind of where I was wanting to go. Now looking at it, I know you guys are looking at my screen, so you're gonna see what I'm thinking. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Garrett Wilson to stack on my wide receivers. I know it was a struggle last year, but that was with Zach Wilson. And even though I don't believe in Nathaniel Hackett, I'm putting some faith in Aaron Rodgers. Obviously he's better than Zach Wilson throwing left-handed. So I think Rodgers is set up to be really good with Garrett Wilson. And obviously we saw back in the Green Bay days, Devontae Adams was hyper targeted. Even before that, Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings. So he's always had a guy, and Garrett Wilson is clearly that guy. So
That's good,
Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, I love it. And now we're jumping Team 5 pick Devontae Adams. And now we're back to Theo David. You're on the clock.
I'm between 2 because I wanted Brees Hall, got picked. Jamar Gibbs got picked. Jonathan Taylor got picked. So I was thinking either Devon A. Chain or I'm thinking of going Drake London. They said there's positive outlook for Drake London this year. You know what? I'm going to take a stab and go 2 receiver to pick Drake London.
Drake London, I like it. He's got a good setup now with Kirko and a new coach and Zach Robinson calling the plays better than dreadful Arthur Smith. That as you guys know in the pod, we are very big haters of Arthur Smith. Okay, but then we had a good stretch because we got the top 3 picks are CPU. We had Marvin go, Josh Allen, the first quarterback goes, Ayuk and Achane go to team 1, then Olave, Laporta, and we're back to Theo David.
Well, I'm thinking of going either get a running back here. Travis Etienne, I'm not really a fan of. I know a lot of y'all like Travis Etienne, but I might have to pick him just by the running backs that are left. I also like Josh Jacobs and the new team, but he is kind of sometimes gets injury prone sometimes. So I'm gonna go with my gut feeling, and just gonna take Josh Jacobs.
All right, Jacobs, and now we're back to me. Jacobs and then ETN goes. That's who I was probably going to pick. Now looking at the landscape, I got 2 wide receivers, so I really should go with a running back. Quarterback I could do, but I don't know. I'm going to have to go with Derrick Henry, Baltimore guy.
Yeah, definitely.
I believe in it. I mean, he's gotten 10 touchdowns every year that he's been a starter. And even the year he only played 8 games, he had 10 touchdowns. That tells you something. And that was with, a struggling offensive line in Tennessee. Now he goes to a better team with, in Baltimore. Even though their O-line, they got hurt, they lost some players. But with Lamar and Derrick Henry, it's too special. So I got Derrick Henry.
If I can say something, Derrick Henry was going to be my pick, but Lamar Jackson might take a lot of those rushing touchdowns too. So that's why I didn't pick Derrick Henry.
You could argue that. I guess I kind of have a different view on that. I think with Lamar, I know he's big, but he's skinny, he's tall. they're going to give it to the big, however tall Derrick Henry and big, fast, strong he is. But yeah, he definitely will. He's got that rushing upside. So I see your point. All right, we're going to jump to pick 7. Genoa, you got 2 RBs. How's it looking in round 3?
So I'm down to Mike Evans. You know how much I love Mike, and you know how much I love those Aggies, Justin, as I'm sure you do too. But I'm going to go kind of another direction here. Let's go with DJ Moore here. Just because he has a new quarterback. I wouldn't say it's a new offense, but in some ways a new offense, same coach. DJ Moore did good last year with what he had. But now that you have that revamped offense in Chicago, I like DJ Moore to be a little bit of a slight breakout this year. So more of a breakout. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore as my first receiver off the board.
I think that's really interesting. Obviously he was a wide receiver 6 in 2023 with Justin Fields. Now he's got Caleb, and he's also got Keenan and Rome Odunze to crowd up the room. But hey, if he's the number 1 guy and you believe in him, I like what you got going there. Okay, and then we're moving. You talked about the Aggie and Mike Evans. He gets picked right after DJ Moore. Then the first or second tight end goes off the board, and Travis Kelce. Or back to pick 10. Pops, what are you going with?
Oh, I love it. Y'all left me the guy that I really wanted. He's going to be, I'm telling you, he's going to be top 10 receiver for this team, and it's going to be my Houston Texans right there. I'm going to pick Nico Collins.
Nico, okay. Sounds good. All right, what we got next?
Round back for the 4th pick of the first round, I'm going to go and pick, it's hard to pick here on this. Let's see here. I'm trying to see what I have left. I'm going to go ahead and pick another receiver. This guy's going to get, he does everything. He does a running back. He does receiving. He even plays quarterback at times, and he scores there. It's going to be my man, Deebo Samuel.
Oh, wow. All right. Filling up on the wide receivers.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Deebo, especially if Ayuk gets traded. I know he requested out. And Deebo was the wide receiver, I believe he was wide receiver 12 last year. And I feel like not a lot of people have seen it that way. But now this year he goes into a season where he could be utilized even more. And so I like that pick a lot. I probably would have gone him if he fell to me. All right, and then we got Mahomes. Mahomes goes off the board before Jalen Hurts, surprise to at least myself. And then we got Jalen Waddle, and we're back to Genoa. What's up?
Wow, there's so many good options here. I want to go with another. I want to go with another wide receiver. I'm going to go with another running back. This guy he's going to do good this year, and it's Rachaad White. He had a great back half of the fantasy season last year. He was getting all those catches, all those touchdowns. I mean, literally look at his last 6 games. He was literally going off. He's a PPR machine. And I think he'll go well with my Saquon and my Jonathan Taylor. I feel like I can get receivers later down the line. So let's get Rachaad White, who's still young and on offense that wants to win the division. That did.
I'm surprised you did that. I'd be honest. I would have gone elsewhere. I would probably gone Mr. Pacheco. Just because Rachaad White, he was phenomenal last year. He surprised me. I wasn't on that train. I mean, I don't think many people were on the Tampa Bay Bucks train, but he obviously he overperformed. They lose Dave Canales, who's one of my favorite, play callers, and they lose Ryan Jansen, their center from last year, who's been there for I think a decade. But he's got the catching, expertise that in a half PPR league will be pretty special. But okay, you got Rachaad White. As I just mentioned, I'm going Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, that's
my second. That was my
pick. Either him or Deebo Samuel when I was picking, but
yeah, we were flipped then. So you get Deebo, I get Pacheco. We can trade later if we want. But Pacheco he doesn't get a lot of catches, which is the worry, right? I guess both of my running backs aren't getting many catches for this next season, but he's on a great offense where he's going to be in the red zone all the time. And he was a top 10, top 12 back last season.
Yeah,
I don't see any changes to make that not happen. So I got Pacheco. Team 5 gets Jalen Hurts, and we're back to Theo David.
I kind of disagree. I'm not. Isaiah Pacheco did have a good season last year. I was thinking about him. Then I said, they're going to start running back by committee a lot of times too. And then they got Travis Kelce. They got this Worthy. So I didn't really think that Isaiah Pacheco could have won a few more rounds. I mean, it's not a bad pick, but I think it would cut him in the next round. And I'm thinking that you do another running back. And my running back, he's on a new team. He's motivated. He's dedicated. Better. I think the offensive line's gotten better. And I'm going to go Joe Mixon.
I like that pick. It's a good pick. All right.
I think even though they signed Akers, I think Mixon will have definitely the majority of the run. So
yeah, and I mean the last 3 years he's been an inefficient runner. Yet he was last year he was the RB6. So it's like he's still.
He's under the radar. Under the radar. He does under the radar. That's what I like about him. So.
And similar to Pacheco, Houston's a team that's going to be in the red zone, getting like high, close to touchdown possessions every other drive or every drive. And so, Mixon's a good pick. That's a nice one. Okay. Then we got Diggs. Another Texan goes off the board. Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson. Oh, Malik Neighbors goes in the beginning of the 5th. I think that's an really interesting one. And then Pittman and Richardson. So running quarterbacks are starting to go. And we're back to Theo David. What do you think about your pick 5?
Well, I'm going to pick this wide receiver. I think he got hurt last year. He's going to be coming big time back to our. No, I wasn't pick Tank Dell, but I got Joe Mixon. Let me change my ways, and I'm going to try. I'm going to get you know what? I'm going to try Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is going to have an outstanding year this year, and I think he's going to be producing. Going to be a top target. He's going to pass Mark, the tight end for Baltimore. I think he's going to be the number 1 reception leader in Baltimore this year.
I mean, I think he came on a little bit later into the season, kind of started becoming that alpha wide receiver 1. I am interested. I don't know if you guys have heard like the rumors of training camp, but John Harbaugh is talking up Rashad Bateman, which you could say like, right? Like that's my face too. But I've heard it all off season, so I'm really interested.
He's injury prone though. That's the only thing I did.
That's a good point to make. He definitely is injury prone. But even so, I don't think even in his best season he could outplay Zay Flowers. But okay, so you got Flowers, then Ken Walker goes off the board, and we're back to me. I got 2 running backs, I got 2 wide receivers, and gosh, this is a tough one. Candidly, I'm going DK or James Cook here. Trying to think of down the board, will I be able to get one or the other later on? You know what? I'm going to go with DK Metcalf. Seattle wide receiver. He hasn't finished below wide receiver 20 in his career. They get a new offensive coordinator in Ryan Grubb, who is just the OC, or just the OC for the Washington Huskies with Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk and company. So he's got that like pass happy scheme, and DK's the X, the wide receiver 1 for Seattle. And Geno Smith's last stand. If Geno Smith doesn't play well this year, I think he's out at quarterback there. And even if just say they bench him, Sam Howell had the most pass attempts in 2023. So he's comfortable with doing that, and so that's why I got DK as my 5th overall or my 5th round pick. And now I'm moving off to Genoa.
All right, guys, I need another receiver. So it is officially Cooper Kupp comeback season.
That's awesome. I know, big too.
Hey, he had, he missed the first couple games last year, but then he really picked up. And then, towards the end of, the season, it was a little because Puka was taken off, and so was Kyron. But this year, he's healthy. The Rams are all established. They're going for that division. And just a couple years ago, he was the first pick overall in all fantasy drafts. So, hey, why don't we get him in the 5th round to go along with DJ Moore? Cooper Kupp will have a great season this year as long as he's healthy. But, yeah Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 2 years removed from, one of the best seasons of all time as a fantasy football player. So I hear you there. Moving to 8, we had Devonta Smith go, and then James Cook go. And now we're at the end of the 5th with Pops. How you doing with that?
I'm doing the real bad because I wanted Devontae Smith or Cook, whichever came my way. Both of them were taken. So I'm looking at a running back. I'm going to see who I got here. I know Aaron Jones is on the new team. I don't really want him right now. I'm going to go with he's a dinosaur, but I'm going with Alvin Kamara. He does catching and he does running, so I have to pick him.
No, that's a good pick. I like Alvin Kamara in the 5th round.
I like it. I mean, he should be able to get those dump offs. this year again. So
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. On my first pick, 6th round, I'm going back to the running back position, and I'm going to skip a lot of running backs here, and I'm going to have my little confidence here in this guy in Oakland called Zamir White, or Las Vegas now, I'm sorry.
yeah. All right, Zamir White. That is I don't know. I think like that's a pretty strong reach there. No, you believe in him this year?
I'm reaching for him.
All right.
He's a cowbell. He could play 3 downs. I mean, I'm telling you, he's
All right, he's gonna rock and roll. Okay, that's what you got. All right, Keenan Allen, Higgins go next, and then we're back to Genoa.
Man. Okay. This is where it gets fun, guys. Here at Doing Sports. Man, look, I do need another receiver because I'm good with 3 running backs. So I don't want to get my U of H Cougar, Houston Texan, Tank Dell. It's only right.
good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a great wide receiving core here with DJ Moore, Cup, and Tank Dell, and so I can kind of switch around my flexes with Tank Dell or Rashard White, whatever the matchup calls for. So let's go with Tank Dell there.
All
I
right.
would have picked him up, but I have Nico Collins already, so that was a good.
All right, so you got Tank Dell. I thought you were gonna steal this guy from me, because I think I knew you were going to the Texan route. I'm gonna go with his quarterback, and I'm gonna pick C.J. Stroud here in the 6th. Lockup QB, a guy he might lead the league in passing this year. I wouldn't be surprised. And he's just on a great team. And he'll be, any points Mr. Dell gets, Mr. CJ is gonna get. So, but no, nice pick, and I got CJ to lock up my QB position. Which I think it's like a tier, in my opinion. CJ, after CJ right here, I think there's a tier break before we dive into the next group. You could argue maybe Dak, but okay. Then next pick at 5, we had George Kittle. And at 4,
my brother Victor laughed because I squinched. I was going to pick C.J. Stroud. So you got it before me. Yeah.
Do it.
I knew it. And I wanted to take Dell, but I already had Joe Mixon earlier. And for some reason, I don't know why, I'm a big Deebo Samuel fan, and I should have picked him in the 2nd round. But, hey, I think Drake London's going to do good. So I messed up with my Deebo Samuel pick. I always get him in all my leagues. Y'all know that. So I'm going to go, since C.J. Stroud went off the board, I think I'll wait a little longer for a quarterback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do I'm going to go for another guy that's on a new team. Justin Jefferson is he's going to be starting getting a lot of targets. So it's going to the offensive line is pretty good in Minnesota. So I'm going to go with my boy Aaron Jones.
All right, I like that. He's got his last stand. I think he found a new starting position. Not really anybody scary behind him. Some people love Ty Chandler, but I like the Aaron Jones pick there. Then I'll just run through. Connor got picked. Pollard got picked. I'm not high on him. McBride got picked. That's who I wanted on the way back. Then we had George Pickens, Ramondre Stevenson, and David Montgomery, just to lead right back to Theo David. What you picking?
I'm going to pick it up since, Stephon Diggs went out to the Texans. They got Khalif Shakir, the number 1 wide receiver. They picked up the rookie there. But so I'm going to go with Counted. I'm going to go with the number 1 tight end, which is Dalton Kincaid.
Good pick. Good pick there. You stole that from me. That's who I was going to pick if I had the chance.
You stole Stroud for me, so I had to pay you back, Mijo.
Yeah, we're even now. We're even. But yeah, nice pick. Very good pick. That's where my head was at. To be honest with you, after Kincaid, I think there's another tier break before we get into the next group, so I'm gonna have to wait there. I have 3 wide receivers. Do I go for a 4th or do I go for running back? I'm not a big Swiftie on this one. There's some guys down the line I could go for, but I'm going to go with Christian Kirk here, Jacksonville wide receiver. Get my 4th guy, really lock up that position. He's going to be the number 1 guy, I think. I know. Yeah, right. They drafted Brian Thomas, yes, and he's a good talent coming out of LSU. He's a 1st rounder, but Lawrence has that connection with Kirk already. We saw that even happen with Ridley. Ridley kind of was phased out at times. Kirk was the more consistent piece. And so, yeah, I'm going to go Christian Kirk there. And then we jump to Genoa.
Okay. I want to draft Caleb Williams so bad because I want to stack Caleb and DJ Moore, but he hasn't played a snap in the NFL yet. So let's go with a divisional rival in that team. Let's go with Jordan Love at quarterback. Look, everybody is sleeping on Jordan Love this year. He is a top 3, top 4 candidate at MVP. He's going to have a fantastic season. Justin and everybody in here, it seems that they have a new receiver every week. They already have Watson and Dobbs and Jaden Reed, and now they added Josh Jacobs, which my Uncle David is a little, hesitant on with his injuries, but it's still going to be a great offense. So I love Jordan Love, and this is a great round to get him in 7th round with, your core already set up. So I'm going Jordan Love as my ace quarterback.
Man, I love that. Do that. That's what
pick.
I wanted.
Great pick. That was a great pick, Neil.
Yeah, my dad has been talking about him for weeks. Yeah, he's got a poster of him in his room. Like you stole it from him. So,
anyway.
Yeah, you're at 10, Dad. Go ahead.
If I wasn't going to pick up Love or someone picked him up before me, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the next quarterback in line for me, and that's going to be fantasy football point god is Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I'm not winning you a championship, but he's going to get you points.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, down the stretch last year, I think he was quarterback 1. Like from week 8 on, like at the back half, he was phenomenal. So,
well, he's gonna have to be thrown a lot. I mean, coming back, I think, like you said, the first half of the game, they don't do well, and then they start bringing it out. They're gonna have to, keep throwing it.
Yeah, and with their running back game being so weak, I would say with Rico and Zeke, they are gonna have to continue to pass it. So, good pick there, and you got another one.
Okay, let me see here. I got 3 running backs, 3 receivers, got a quarterback. I don't know if it's a good time to pick a tight end. There's still a few of them out there. But you know what I'm going to do? Let's see the wide receiver, running back. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wait on a tight end. And I'm going to pick up a running back that does run the ball and catch the ball a lot, and that's my DeAndre Swift there. DeAndre Swift.
All right, Swift goes off the board, then Jaden Reed and Joe Burrow, and it jumps to Genoa again.
Theo Victor, I thought you were going to pick this guy because you got his quarterback, but I'm going to go with this tight end. Maybe a little early, but let's go Jake Ferguson. He had a breakout season last year. I need me a tight end. I'm not really trusting Evan Ingram. I do like Brock Bowers, David Njoku, Goddard, and I would pick TJ Hawkinson, but I think he tore his ACL kind of in the middle of the season, so we're not really sure if he's going to be able to start. So let's go with Jake Ferguson, who had a great year, and Dak Prescott is he's going to need to go to CD, and then he's also going to need to go to Ferguson. So Ferguson could be a top 5 tight end this year. So definitely look out for that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good sleeper tight end that people aren't talking about too much. And you're right. I mean, he's got CD and he's got to throw it to somebody else. I know they got Brandon Cooks, but he's on his last leg. And then, Gallup left and recently retired, and they got Tolbert, and that's nothing to be concerned about. So Ferguson's a good pick there. Jumps to me. I got a quarterback. I got, 4 wide receivers and 2 running backs. So I really want to jump back into the running back well. Goodness. Or do I go tight end? Oh, Evan Ingram's there. But I just picked Kirk, but he's not going to start. It's just how my mind works. I'm just running through it. You know what? Man. I'm going to go with the guy who scored us 18 touchdowns last year, and I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert. I know he's older and gets hurt often, but we said the exact same story last year. So I'm just going to run with it for now. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest believer in Mostert. It's a risky, person to, clip on to. And so, but I'm going to go in there because I think he has a really high upside if, this season kind of rolls similar to last year. So Mostert for me there. Then Jordan Addison goes, and we're back to Theo David.
Well, since all the most of the top quarterbacks got taken, I was going to do the combo of Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase that got taken by the CPU at team 8. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer for a quarterback. I think I can get a good quarterback later on. I'm going to go with a wide receiver, and I'm thinking of, I'm going to see if at first I wasn't sure about him, but I heard rave reviews on him. So I'm going to go with Xavier Worthy.
Oh, I like
good
that.
pick.
Did
Good
y'all
pick.
see that? I mean, it's going viral. The training camp play with Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy. They're already clicking everybody, and it's a scary proposition to see a guy like with that speed. Reminds you of a Tyreek Hill-esque player. So I think that's a good pick there. He's a good. I feel like he's a buy low guy. He's going in end of the eighth, and he could be a top, wide receiver one by the end of the year. But okay, we got a rookie for there, and then we got Rome Odunze, another rookie. Calvin Ridley goes off the board, and then we get another rookie in Jonathan Brooks. Then we got Najee, Rashee Rice, and Chris Godwin. And now we're back to Theo David.
Yeah, I think I did right because I was going to pick a Dunze a little bit, but I thought Worthy would be more, like I said, number one wide receiver for Kansas City because Rashid Rice is in trouble, as y'all know. So I was thinking about Worthy being a great pick, so I thought I did good in the 8th round. 9th round, I might go running back because the running backs are getting thin. And I'm going to go with my boy. He's old, he got back, but he's always a workhorse. He gets touchdowns. It's my boy Nick Chubb.
All right, Chubsters is a good pick. Then Lad McConkey goes off the board. And I'm looking at it here, and Evan Ingram's the next best available. To me, you could argue, I mean, you got Ingram and Njoku are probably the last, and maybe Goddard are like the last of like the startable, like tight ends I'd be like comfortable starting. So even though I got Kirk, I'm going to have to go with Evan Ingram here and get my tight end to fill up my starting roster pretty well there. So I got Ingram, and now we're off to Genoa.
Yeah, so my Uncle David mentioned that he got Worthy, and because, Rashee Rice is in trouble. So let's get the next best wide receiver in Kansas City there. Mahomes is going to get it to everybody. Let's go Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
a deep sleeper. A deep sleeper. He's going to have a great year.
That's a great selection. I mean, he's had, brief, good, like really good periods of football with, Lamar and Kyler. And now he finds himself with Patrick Mahomes. It kind of feels like a little bit similar when Juju, he was falling off in Pittsburgh. Then he goes to Kansas City, and he ended as I think he was a wide receiver too. So the fact you're getting him in the end of the 9th is a good pick there. So Hollywood Brown, then Zach Moss goes off the board. I like him. Deontay Johnson, another solid pick. And then we got Dad. You're on the clock.
Wow, he's still here. I like this pick here. I know he's getting old, but they got Kyler back. Let me see. I'm trying to. Wow, and this guy's still here. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pick up. I'm going to pick up a wide receiver, and I'm going to do Christian Watson here.
Ooh, wow, that's a great pick.
And in the 9th round, thank you, fellas. I appreciate it. That's a steal, and I'm going to go back and. You know what? I'm going to pick up another wide receiver, and I'm going to go with the dinosaur, DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Perfect. Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Let's go ahead and get. I'm going to need a running back here. And I'm starting to lose. Guys, I've loved my Bama players. I love Najee Harris, but I'm losing a little faith in him. So let's just go with Jalen Warren. He had somewhat of a better season than Najee. And so, you got to believe that it's Jalen Warren time in Pittsburgh. He's going to get those dump-off passes from Russell or Fields or whoever's that quarterback. So I like Jalen Warren in the 10th round. I think that's a good little spot for him.
That's a great pick. That's who I was going to go. I was kind of debating in my head between two names for my next pick. It's also a running back.
Yes, I know who you're going to pick.
I know you're going to pick.
I've been thinking about Brian Robinson.
Yes,
from the Washington Commanders. I mean, this guy, he's on an offense that has a rookie quarterback. But he was RB4 through, I believe, week 10 last year. He had a very good start. I mean, it was kind of carried by like a couple really big games. I think it was like 30-point games. But he goes into a season where Gibson leaves. They bring in Eckler, but Eckler's past his prime, and
but he's going to get all the catches. He will get all the catches.
Yeah,
Brian Robinson won't get. Brian Robinson might get 25 catches of the whole season.
True. Yeah, he might be out on that, but hey, if you look at it, I look at it as, okay, I was looking back. I kind of researched this a little bit. I was looking back and I saw Cliff Kingsbury when he was coaching the Cardinals, okay, and commanding that offense. We had a big season out of nowhere by Kenyon Drake. He had double-digit touchdowns, and we even had a season with James Conner where he was the RB5, but with Kingsbury. So we come to Washington now where he's going to be calling plays for the offense. We got Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray. They're kind of similar builds. I mean, Jaden Daniels is a bigger guy, but they're both rushing quarterbacks, so nothing really changes there. But they need a big back to score them touchdowns, and I think that's going to be Brian Robinson Jr. And so I'm going to go with him there. Get him. Perfect. And then Trey Benson goes off the board, and we're back to Theo David.
And you know what? God, that CPU's read my mind. I was going to pick Trey Benson next. Man. I still think I can wait on a quarterback. I'm not too sold on Kyler Murray right now. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. His size worries me. He's kind of short, and he's fast, but he's coming back from some injuries. So I think I can wait on a quarterback. And I'm thinking of going since Trey Benson. I'm going to go with my boy. They say he's going to be the number one wide receiver for Buffalo. And I think he's doing great strides with Kelly, with the quarterback from Buffalo. So I'm going to go with Keon Coleman.
It's good. I mean, obviously, Keon Coleman was the Bills' first pick in the 2024 draft, and losing Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis leaves a lot of opportunity for somebody to take that mantle. So Keon Coleman's a good pick there. Jamison Williams, I think, is a good sleeper. He goes next. Eckler. Then Brock Bowers goes off the board. After that, JSN. And then Kyler finally goes off the board in the 11th, which to me would be an ultimate value. In my opinion, if I could get Kyler in the 11th versus CJ in the 6th, I'd rather get Kyler in the 11th kind of thing. But yeah, okay. And then we got Njoku, and we're back to Theo David.
Well, here's where I'm going to, since my quarterbacks are starting to get picked, I was thinking, like I said, my nephew, Genoa, said that Caleb Williams hadn't thrown the first pass. I wasn't thinking about him. I'm going to drop and take a stab because it's, like you said, Detroit Lions number one in offensive teams in the NFL. I'm going to go with my boy Jared Goff. I think he's going to do buku touchdowns this year. Ooh, I put Jared Goff. Right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Jared Goff.
I saw Caleb Williams. Like, wait a minute, I didn't pick Caleb Williams. And so I think Jared Goff's going to be great this year. Now that he has Amon-Ra St. Brown, he has Laporta, he has Jameson Williams that's come back off injury. He has Jahmyr Gibbs coming out the backfield. So I think he's going to be one of the top maybe 6 wide receivers as far as fantasy. I think he'll be up there. So I'm going to pick Jared Goff.
Yeah, Goff's a good pick. I mean, he's got one of the best setups you could ask for. He just got paid big money, so he's sticking around. And this is a team that's looking for a Super Bowl, so they're going to be playing hard every week.
And if you remember when he was on the Rams, he went to the Super Bowl. So, as a rookie or second, I think it was second year. So I think he has potential. And I think Detroit was the best team for him. And I think he's going to go off this year.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good selection there.
I need Justin and I need Genoa not to pick my next player, but go ahead, Justin.
I know who it is, too. I'm thinking about it.
Don't do it.
I won't spill the beans. But I'm at a point where I'm like, do I round out my running backs? Do I round out my quarterbacks? Do I round out my receivers? Because I got four of each. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick Giants running back Devin Singletary. So my kind of work through on this one is Singletary. He took over Dameon Pierce's role, in my opinion, last year in Houston. He goes to the Giants, who obviously don't have Saquon Barkley anymore. Not too much competition. I know they drafted Tyrone Tracy, but that's a 6th-round draft pick. Not a lot of capital. If you've been watching Hard Knocks offseason with the Giants, they were excited to bring in Devin Singletary. And I just think, even though the offense is going to be kind of bad, as my 5th running back, he has the volume to kind of possibly be an RB2. So I got Singletary there, and we're off to Genoa.
Oh, Genoa, don't do it.
I'm gonna go with the guy who gets a lot of goal line carries for a new team. So let's go with Gus Edwards.
Was that him, Dad? I was pretty sure that was him.
Yes, it was him.
That's
Man,
unfortunate.
why do I have to be after him? All right. Oh boy. Let's see here. All right, I don't have a tight end yet. I
Oof.
do like Dallas Goddard, but now that Barkley's there, he's going to get some of the catches there. I'm going to go, since Deontay Johnson left Pittsburgh, I'm going with Pat Freiermuth. I think he's going to be the second receiver. I know he's a tight end, but he's going to catch second. Yeah, pass catcher. He's going to definitely be the second behind Pickens. So I picked up Pat Freiermuth.
You better be careful there, though, because Arthur Smith's in town. He's the OC, so he's calling offensive plays. And if you remember in Atlanta, he did not like to use his number one tight end. He would, for some reason, throw in the tight end too. So maybe you should be getting Darnell Washington.
But he probably learned something new.
I sure hope so.
That's why they got rid of him. He don't want to get out of Pittsburgh now, right?
Yeah.
And then on my way back, I'm looking at, man, look at that. Another quarterback, and I'm going to go with Tua.
Okay.
Go ahead and do Tua.
Good pick. Good selection. Tua off the board, and then Dallas Goddard goes off the board, and Cortland Sutton, who just got a restructured contract to stay in Denver. And now we got Genoa.
Man, there's a couple great sleepers just in the wide receiver spot here. Dobbs, Adonai Mitchell. And hey, who can forget that Curtis Samuel is now in Buffalo to pick up the slack that Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs left behind. But I got Jordan Love. I need to stack my Packers. I think Dobbs is the second, third-ish kind of best receiver. I think, something's going to happen. So let's go with Dobbs in the 12th round to get a stack. Somewhere along the way in the season, one of my receivers are going to get buys. Injuries sometimes happen. So I feel like Dobbs can be a plug-and-play guy with my quarterback. So Dobbs in the 12th, I like that.
You know what? That was my next pick. I thought you weren't going to pick him up because you had Love. I hope he was going to slide down to me, but that's a great pick, man. That was going to be my pick.
Yeah, and if you remember that Green Bay game against the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs, I mean, Dobbs was lighting that defense up, and just throughout the season, we've seen Dobbs do pretty well. So that's a good pick to match up with Jordan Love. For me, I would want to go Jaden Daniels, but he does have the same bye week as CJ, and we only got two quarterbacks. So I was like, I can't do that. I'm going to put that off for another round or two, and I'm going to look at wide receiver, and I'm kind of balancing between Curtis Samuel, who you just mentioned, and Tyler Lockett. I do have DK Metcalf, so that kind of leans me off of Lockett. And then even looking at Curtis Samuel, though, his career season was his last year in Carolina, and good thing to bring up, his offensive coordinator that year in Carolina was Joe Brady, who is now the current offensive coordinator for the Bills. So putting all that together, he has the opportunity to be the wide receiver one. And so I'm going Curtis Samuel in my 12th round pick.
Mm-hmm. That's a good pick.
Thank you. Zeke goes off the board next, and we got David again.
Mijo, Mijo, you got my boy Dobbs. I've always liked him. So I'm thinking of going with a running. Let me see. I might go for wide receiver here. My running backs are kind of thin right now, so maybe I'll go for wide receiver. I'm going to take a stab at this guy. He's going to be he's big. He was great in I think it was UT, Texas Longhorn, right? Adonai Mitchell. I'm going to pick Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell.
Perfect. A good pick there.
Good pick.
As a second rounder. And then Blake Corum off the board. Hawkinson, Chase Brown, Jaden Daniels ends up getting picked. Jerome Ford, Justin Herbert, who I was thinking of grabbing. And then we're back to Theo David.
Yeah. I think the computer I should have picked Justin Herbert, but I didn't want to feel like picking up two quarterbacks back to back. But it didn't last. I was hoping he'd last to me as my second quarterback. I'm going to go with my boy. Let's see here. I'm kind of at a shoot. There's a lot of. You know what? Damn. God dog it.
What are you thinking? We can help you here if you got.
Yeah. I'm thinking of going. He's a rookie. They got Devon A. Chain, but they say he's great out of college. I'm going to take a stab at it. I think he's going to be a wild card, a sleeper, like Genoa likes to say. I think Jalen Wright is going to be a good picker at this 13th round.
That is a good selection. I if you look at it right, Mostert's, he's always a risky pick with his injury history. Same with Achane. And the thing is, Wright and Achane kind of have a similar build and play how they play. And so if Wright had to fill into one of those roles, I think he could play really well. And they got him in the 3rd round too, which is the same draft capital they used on Devon Achane. So good pick there. I was gonna pick Schultz. If he came to me, he gets right between me, so that's unfortunate. I'll look at quarterback, and I got 3 guys in mind. You got Lawrence, you got Kirk, and you got Stafford. Kirk obviously coming off the Achilles, but he's on the Falcons now, which is a good setup. But I don't think I'm going to go him. And then between Lawrence and Stafford, I think Stafford would be a more consistent option. So I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford as my quarterback 2. And, go ahead, Genoa.
Yeah, so I'm going to need a quarterback, just a backup. Jordan Love's bye week is the 10th, week 10. And I like Kirk Cousins. His bye week is week 12, so it kind of all matches out. Week 10, he's at New Orleans, so the Saints could be a potential shootout divisional rivalry. So let's go with Kirk Cousins, and the 13th as my backup quarterback. He has Bijan and Drake London, and hopefully Kyle Pitts is good. And so, yeah, I like that. I like that for me.
All right, good pick there. Kirk goes down. Then Komet and Trevor Lawrence, Dad. Now we're back with you.
Whew. Okay, I got my positions filled that I really wanted, but you know what? Wow.
Oh, there's a guy right there. Hope you don't get him. Don't get him.
I think I'm gonna get him. I don't know.
I think you're going.
I'm either thinking right now running back or wide receiver. I don't want Lockett because I don't trust the quarterback there.
In the 13th.
Both of them.
There's a couple good ones still.
Yeah, there's still a couple of good ones. I just don't know.
Ooh,
you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get Zach Charbonnet.
Chardonnay.
Just in case, what's his name? Kenny Walker goes down, we got him.
That's smart. Very smart of
Yeah.
you. You got another
solid
one?
Oh, my other one. I forgot what was it. All right, my back here. I'm just gonna go pick up a receiver then to fill out all these. And I'm gonna go with Khalil Shakir from Buffalo. He took the number 1 position, and now that what's his name's gone, he'll be next up in line.
I mean, he's like the only wide receiver incumbent from last year's Bills team because, of course, Diggs and Davis are gone.
Yeah, Diggs is gone.
And then they brought in Samuel and Coleman. But who knows? Maybe Josh Allen wants to rely on his guy that he's has some chemistry with. Okay, then we got Chuba, Kendre are off the board. Back with Genoa.
So I wanted Kendra Miller. I thought, I think that this is the year he kind of takes over Kamara in some ways. I think it's going to be a little bit running back by committee. So now that he's picked, I'm going to let's start this off. Hey, this guy was the best kicker, I think, last year. And I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it and look away and get Aubrey. He was the best kicker in fantasy. I mean, literally, he might have been the highest scorer. I have to double check that. But every time I turned on the Cowboys TV, it was Aubrey hitting from all over range. And like I said, I have all my positions filled. I need that kicker. I need those 10, maybe 15 points a game for my kicker. So hey, let's lock that in. Get Aubrey.
All right. You're diving into the kicker game. I usually wouldn't, but I'm kind of interested. Let's see if there's a tight end I could go for, and there's nothing good out there. All right, I'm gonna join the party. I'm gonna go with Justin Tucker. Get Mr. Reliable at kicker near the end of our drafts. And then we got here. I don't know why that's not working though.
Yeah, no defenses from anywhere yet, huh? Oh, there we go.
There we go. CPU gets Dallas Cowboys defense, as Genoa predicted it was going to happen. And now we got Theo David. What you going to
do? I need another tight end to keep up my tight ends, or another quarterback. You know what? I'm going to go with a quarterback, and because I think he's going to be taken soon. He's going to be proven. He wants to prove himself that he's still young. He's got, Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. I'm going to go with my boy, You can't go wrong with him. He's always accurate. Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, nice. He's got some juice left, hopefully. And then we got Dobbins coming off the Achilles. Jacoby Myers, wide receiver 2 in Vegas. Tyler Lockett goes off in the 14th. And then we got some defenses, and we're back to you, Theo. 2 picks left. You need a kicker and a defense.
Yep, that's what I usually like to pick my kicker defense. My last 2, I'm gonna go with defense that surprised us all last year. I think they're still gonna do good. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs defense. I think this they're hounding, and I think they're gonna be great this year again.
It's a good one. Chiefs
you
good.
can make the argument that they are the best defense in the league. I mean, literally, the playoffs, they were unbelievable.
Yeah,
playoffs. That's why they won it all with
Very
the best
true.
quarterback.
Yeah, that
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
And for most years, the best tight end, but
yeah, most of the time. This one, I'll look at the defense. You know what? I'm actually going to look at tight end, and I'm going to give you guys a quick stat. You want to know who has the easiest tight end schedule this year?
Luke Musgrave.
Luke, it's Hunter Henry.
Hunter
Henry. And so that's who I'm going to go, just in case. Gesicki is out of town, so don't have to worry about a tight end taking up his targets. And maybe a young rookie like Drake May or even Brissett will rely on their security blanket at tight end. So Hunter Henry will be my backup tight end. And you got it.
I'm going to go with the Georgia Eagles. Philly Bulldogs. Philadelphia Eagles defense there.
I was going to pick that too.
They got a ton of talent there in Philly, so it's an all-star team there in Philadelphia.
Nice. All right, that's good. And we're to Dad. Pittsburgh and Cleveland are off the board. Who you got?
Wow, all the good defenses are gone that I like.
Kicker yet, Victor?
Well, that's the last. You pick.
No, but
you got
2 picks. You got 2 picks. You're right.
I got it. Slow your roll. We got it. I done went back to back for no reason. I'll tell you what I'm going to go pick up. I'm going to go and do. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the defense. And like I was telling David, kicker you pick last all the time because every week there's a different number 1 kicker. So on the kicking part, I like McPherson. Cincinnati's always there at the goal. So
good offense
to be the one that's kicking a lot.
All right. Then Butker and Kugo, and we're at Genoa. You got a kicker, you got a defense, so you're filling up the bench with this last one.
You know what, Justin? I want to get a backup tight end. Look, Taysom Hill is going to be – I want to get Taysom Hill because he has quarterback credentials or whatever it is, but he's also tight end. But the Dallas Cowboys running back position is so thin, I feel like there might be a league winner in there. I don't know how that makes sense, but it does. Let's go with Rico Dowdle, who showed some flashes last year. Pollard's not there, and, Zeke is in and whatever. So I think he's the younger guy with fresher legs. Also, don't forget about Deuce Vaughn, but I like Dowdle to kind of start off hot in the season.
And for the 6th pick, that's a great pick.
Yeah, and I can use him for trade bait because he's going to probably start off the season real good, and I think end up figuring it out midway for the Cowboys. They'll figure it out at the running back position. But Dowdle will be some good trade bait, I would say.
No, that's a great pick. I wish that went over my head. That's a good one. I would have done it over Henry. Who needs a second tight end when you could have got a potential starter?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great selection in the 16th. Looking at my 16th, I'm going to go defense, right? And how I like to pick nowadays, I never see like a stud like number 1 defense as much. Like, they have off weeks, so I like to stream defenses like you get also streaming kickers. Right. And so I looked at the schedule. Week 1, to me, the defense that has by far the easiest matchup is the Seattle Seahawks. They host the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix's first game, and so I'm not even going to waste time. I'm going with Seahawks as my defense for this mock. And then Tyler Bass. Tyler Bass goes off the board. And Theo, do your last pick.
My last pick is going to be a consistent kicker on a top offense. Jake Moody from the 49ers. I think he's going to be doing good this year. Like you said, if they lose Brandon Ayuk, they're going to probably kick more field goals. So I think he's going to be one of the top 4 or 5 kickers for fantasy.
Bang. Great pick. Yeah, attach your kicker to a good offense. Most of the time, attach your players to good offenses. But yeah,
Right.
all right. Wow. That's 16 rounds. We went deep. We covered a ton of players. But yeah, great draft, y'all. Just looking at the first couple of rounds, I think everybody did really good. There wasn't too many like super questionable ones, in my opinion. I'll start Genoa, and then we'll go down. What are your thoughts on the draft?
This was a great first draft. Hey, one of many drafts before September 5th kickoff there in Kansas City. So, hey, this is just a little bit of a practice for me. I went Saquon a little too early, but I do think that that's kind of the best spot for him. Looking at what Matthew Vick did, I mean, Breece Hall, the last pick of the first round, Breece Hall is going top 4 in lots of mock drafts, so you got him there. Look at Matthew David. Drake London could be one of those guys that's like those Cooper Kupp picks where it's like you pick him in the 3rd round, you're like Cooper Kupp, but then he goes on to have the greatest wide receiver year. I'm looking at Justin. He took St. Brown and he has Wilson. So he has 3 studs at wide receiver, 4 with Kirk. So, I mean, maybe Justin might have the best draft here. I mean, he's got Derrick Henry and Pacheco. Mostert as his 3rd. I mean, he could, but, CJ too as his quarterback. So I don't know. Justin might have maybe won this draft here. I don't know. I'm trying to looking around. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, go ahead, Dad.
I think the mistake I made is I love Puka, but I think Cooper Kupp, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be right alongside with him. So I should have picked up Kyron Williams. Or Jonathan Taylor. I'm sorry. I should have picked Jonathan Taylor with Breece Hall. Oh, that would have been so nice. And then came back and still picked up Nico Collins and Deebo Samuels, and that started off on my receiving core. So that's the first mistake I think I did.
The mistake I think I did. I like Drake London, like Mijo, like Genoa said. A second pick, I could have last a 3rd pick. I should have picked Deebo Samuel in that slot. I don't know why I overlooked him. I didn't see him on my thing, and we're trying to get all these positions for him, and I just overlooked because I'm a Deebo Samuel fanatic, and I should have picked him second. I think Drake London would have lasted me to the 3rd round.
I do have a question. Do you think you could have gotten Laporta over London? I think that would have been nice to get Chase, Laporta at the 2nd round. Laporta's going to go 2nd round, I think. He's going to for sure be gone by
I was honestly, because I was thinking either Kelsey or Laporta on the 2nd round. And you're right. I could have probably, like you, take a stab at, at Laporta at 2nd. You're right. That would have been a great pick also, yes.
Well, my rule of thumb is not to pick a tight end in the first 2 rounds. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the reason also I kind of laid off because there's a lot of tight ends that you could pick in the 3rd round pretty good. So, but Laporta would have been a great pick 2nd round. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at my team, I see no holes. So I don't know. You guys all have but no, I do really like my team. I think it went well for the most part. I could argue maybe Mixon over Pacheco. As I mentioned earlier, if I could have got Kyler I think he went in the 11th. I would have much rather did that than Stroud in the 6th. Looking at everybody else's team, I like it. Go ahead, Dale.
Let me ask y'all two about who would y'all have picked. I think maybe I picked Flowers. I was going to pick Metcalf, but I took Flowers. I think Flowers has more upside right now. I love Metcalf, but Geno Smith. Y'all think I picked the right pick? Flowers over Metcalf?
Go ahead, Geno.
They're about the same. They're about the same in my opinion.
Yeah, I in my personal opinion, I would have done Metcalf or Kupp over Flowers, but Flowers right after that, I think is still good.
The reason I picked Flowers has the most upside. I think Kupp is great. I love he's great. He's always a surefire receptions leader. Metcalf is good too. Just Geno Smith might be going down this year, so that's why Flowers with Lamar Jackson, I think has more upside. That's why I picked him. But you're right, I couldn't go wrong if I picked Metcalf before Flowers. You're right.
Yeah, and I will point out I love the Kincaid pick. I think this is like the first year, honestly, that there's not like a clear. I know you could argue Laporta is like the number 1 guy now, but I literally think Laporta, Andrews, Kelsey, Kincaid, McBride, and even Kittle, Ferguson, and Pitts could be the tight end 1 at the end of the year.
Right.
I think that.
What do you think about? I think Musgrave. It's with Jordan Love having all those receivers. Musgrave's going to be open a lot. and I think he might be a touchdown king like Cole Kmet.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
If any tight end that's going to take the lead, it might be Kincaid. Because now that Diggs is gone, he might be another Laporta or another Kelsey, where they're going to have to depend on him more. So.
Yeah. I think I picked Kincaid. That's right. I just thought that sleeper could be Luke Musgrave for the Packers, because I think with all those receivers, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watson, Josh Jacobs coming out of the backfield, I think Luke in the red zone, I think Luke Musgrave he might not have a lot of yards, but I think he's going to be a touchdown. So as a late pick, Luke Musgrave could have been a good pick for somebody.
Yeah, it's an interesting sleeper. I think with the Packers, right, there's no clear wide receiver one.
Right.
And so somebody needs to take up that mantle, and you could argue maybe Musgrave gets those targets that, with no clear wide receiver one, obviously there's opportunity there.
You got to look at it. For me to get Christian Watson in the 9th round, possible number one receiver on the team, that's
and Hopkins right after, because Hopkins is going to be good. He's going to be good.
It's not going to be
it's going to be Ridley. What are you talking about? It's got to be Ridley. They paid him $92 million.
I think Ridley's gonna surpass Hopkins. I'm with you, Justin.
With that 2-3 years ago where he went out just because of all.
D-Hop's going to get his own because he's a clutch wide receiver. He has good hands. He don't have a lot of speed, but he knows how to run routes. But I think that Ridley is going to be.
And in the 10th round,
I think Hopkins might get more receptions, but I think Ridley's going to get more touchdowns.
Honestly, we might have to make a bet off screen with this Ridley versus Hopkins thing. That'd be an interesting debate there. Before we close, I actually have a quick question, Dad. I want to get your full take on Zamir White at the beginning of the 6th. I thought that was a really interesting pick.
Yeah, that was kind of steep for me too.
It was a little too soon. I wasn't going to pick up Dell, a receiver. I already have Nico Collins. I wasn't going to pick up Higgins because there's some days that, they don't play him one game because whatever he did.
Yeah.
I like Keenan Allen, but he's getting of age, new team. There's a lot
of
players.
Those other running backs, Aaron Jones, Connor.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is on a new team with a new quarterback, and they have Justin Jefferson, and they have Addison. Connor's getting of age, so he's still going to get the rock, but it's going to be the rookie running back. And then Pollard, I just don't trust Pollard.
I don't trust Pollard.
I think right now Zamir White, and he's a third down. Play all 3 downs. So
I'm gonna take the Vic side on this real quick. His last 4 games, this was after Jacobs was pretty much done for the season. He had a touchdown, and then he had 145 yards, and he had 71 with 5 catches. And then the last game of this year, he had 112 rushing yards. So the last 4 games of the season, you could have made the argument that Zamir White was a fantasy league winner. He had some great games there.
I don't disagree with y'all. I think Zamir White's a good pick. He's in my sleeper league, as you know, in our sleeper league in Dynasty. But I think Zamir White could have waited a few. He would have lasted maybe 1 or 2 more rounds because everybody overlooked him. So I think he's a great pick. But I think 6th pick. I'm with my nephew, with my godson Justin. Might be a little, maybe the middle of the 7th might have been better. But I think he's not a bad pick. I just think that
and Connor and Pollard, they would have picked Zamir White over them.
Yeah,
I like that we got this debate going on here. We got some rifts in between our takes.
What do y'all think about my pick of? Would you have picked Jared Goff or Justin Herbert? I picked Jared Goff, more touchdown capability, more receivers. Even though Justin Herbert's a surefire quarterback, that was my debate. Should I pick Justin Herbert or Jared Goff? What do y'all think about me picking Jared Goff over Justin Herbert? What do y'all think?
Well, I had Jared Goff for the last 2 years, and he's a reliable quarterback, but you won't get more than 17 points out of him. I like Herbert because he's going to have to throw a lot. That's it.
But his targets are.
Yeah, but
and that's why I picked Justin targets.
He has to throw.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to throw the ball, and Jared Goff is he'll throw, but it's going to. If you see his points, the average points he's getting 16, and that's for quarterback. It should be 20 for me.
You got to remember though, Jared Goff at home is a great quarterback. When he's those 8 games a year, he's a great quarterback.
And then the other 8, he's away and he's
but listen, he's always bad in weather games where it's outdoors.
Yeah.
They only have 3 games in weather this year. So, and one of it is in San Francisco. So they got a good set. I'd probably go Goff in my opinion for this season. So
that's why I think with upside. Yeah, I agree with Victor. In the past, I think Justin Herbert was a better quarterback, but like Genoa said, the receivers are depleted in the Chargers wide receiver core. So I think Jared Goff has more potential now with Jahmyr Gibbs being. I think he's going to overtake David Montgomery, and out of the backfield, he's fast, and Jared Goff could be a safety valve for more touchdowns this year. So I think Jared Goff has great upside this year. That's why I picked him a little bit over Justin Herbert. I was hoping Justin Herbert would be my secondary, but he got picked by the CPU. So I had picked Aaron Rodgers, which I think he might have a pretty good year this, hopefully.
Yeah. And they're both run first teams. So like Detroit's going to run the ball a lot. I think Los Angeles Chargers are going to do the same thing.
You know who I would have picked over Goff? Is Purdy, probably.
Oh, I like Purdy too. Purdy's not bad.
Hey, Janelle, I think. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Victor. Go ahead.
No. That was it. I'm fine. You're fine.
I think Janelle would pick Rashad White a little earlier. I think he would have got better pick over Rashad White. I think because they said he did great this past year, but Rashad White is undersized. He's not going to be. Baker Mayfield got his contract, so now he's going to be looking more for Mike Evans and the new rookie wide receiver. So I think Rashad White was a little too steep right there. I would have picked somebody else in that position.
Nice. Well, good takes, everybody. Great draft. I know we passed an hour, so it's going a little long. But Pops, Theo, thanks for joining. This was great.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, and as we mentioned at the top, guys, comment who you think had the best team, your thoughts on the mock itself, and like, comment, subscribe, everything. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks everybody for working it. And hopefully we see you two again. We definitely will for some more mocks and takes.
Hey, I want to see what you think. One more thing before we sign off. What do you think about your co-partner's Isaiah Pacheco pick? Do you think it was a little too early too, or would you pick some other running back?
I was actually going to pick Pacheco over Rashad White. But the thing is with the Chiefs is the last 5 in the Mahomes era, they haven't had a consistent running back. They had Damian Williams. Yeah, that's why.
Too early. That's why I think it's too early.
They still have Jerick McKinnon, who has these random games. They'll have someone new this year in Kansas City. Watch.
And then Clyde's Hilaire there too. So
and for me, this is my personal reason. I probably would have picked Zamir White over Rashad White.
Wow, that's
just me.
Okay.
Sure.
For the potential, you're right.
Yeah, for the potential, and I
just think you did a great draft, but I think Pacheco in the 4th round for me is too early. I think he could have lasted 5th round maybe. You had a lot better. Joe Mixon, I think, was better than Pacheco, and a couple others that were picked.
Kansas City running backs.
Yeah.
You said they
usually doesn't work out. But last year Pacheco was pretty solid. I think he was I gotta have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure he was a top 15.
Or even James Cook. Now that there's not that many, James Cook would have been a better pick than Pacheco, I think.
All right, yeah, no, it's a good point. Good thing to point out. But yeah, that wraps up this mock draft. Thank you guests for coming on, and Genoa, as always, send us out.
Yo, Dewey Nation, this is the first fantasy mock draft for the year. There's going to be tons and hundreds of more with these lovely 2 guests as well. We'll be back. We have a few more guests, a few more episodes to do, and we're so excited. But Dewey Nation, as always, peace.
Peace.
Doing sports.